Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. Welcome to another episode of Ask Huda. I'm your host, Omar Dunlap, and I would like to welcome our beloved Sheikh, Dr. Mohamed Salah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And I would like to remind our viewers of our telephone number, 002-0238-555-248 or 249, or you can email us at ask@huda.tv. Sheikh, our first pending question that we have is from Brother Mahmoud from Nigeria. He asked, when praying Shafa' and Witr, is it okay to pray the 2 rakat of Shafa' and then do something else very quickly, like drink water, and then return and pray Witr?
Alhamdulillahi wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadihi alladhina istafa. لا سيما المصطفى صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. All praise due to Allah alone, we praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides is a truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray, no one can show him guidance. May the best peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. If somebody offers 2 rak'ahs, 2 by 2, 2 by 2, then he wanted to wrap up his night prayer, then it is recommended to wrap it up by praying an odd prayer, 1 rak'ah. The minimum is 1 unit. Before that, it's called shafa'. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Fajr, وَالشَّفْعِ وَالْوَتْرِ. So if somebody prayed 2 rak'ahs with the intention of wrapping up the prayer, after that you will pray the 1 single rak'ah, which is the witr, and in between he ate or he grabbed a drink or something like that, there is no problem. That does not violate the connection between the shafa' and the witr.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that answer. Also from Brother Sabr from the United Arab Emirates, he said that his teacher told him that the Prophet ﷺ fasted on Monday and Thursdays because one was the birthday of the Prophet, and he asked if it's, and the teacher said that you should also fast on your own birthday, and he wants to know, is that true or is that a bid'ah?
First of all, in one hadith, the Prophet ﷺ was asked about his voluntary fasting tradition. He used to fast regularly on Mondays and on Thursdays. And when he was asked about why particularly these 2 days, he said that with regards to Monday, this is a day on which he was born. And with regards to Mondays and Thursdays, he said that our deeds will be presented before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during that time. And I like my deeds to be presented before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while I'm fasting, in order to encourage my deeds to be accepted and so on. With regards to, by analogy, that somebody can fast on his own birthday every week or whatever, this is a tradition that was not practiced by any of the companions, nor was it approved by the Prophet ﷺ. And it's not possible to compare our own birthdays to the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ from various points of view. Number one, that the Prophet ﷺ did not actually celebrate his birthday ever. The only celebrations that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ approved was the 2 Eids, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. And after that, second thing, that the celebration of birthday and birthday parties and all of that is non-Islamic traditions. We've confirmed and we discussed before, and I believe that Dr. Abdul Hakim Kwok also spoke in Holiday Myth about the origin of the birthday and birthday parties. It's originally a Christian tradition, and we're not allowed to copy non-Muslims in their traditions. In the fact of celebrating birthday, that the person is actually celebrating something that he should be concerned and worried about, not the other way around. Because we said that if somebody's lifespan is 60 years, more or less, the everyday passes by, it is by minus, it's taken from his asset, from his lifetime. So he should not actually celebrate that he lost 1 year and he's getting closer to his destiny or his death. He should be more concerned. So fasting Monday, because it is a prophetic tradition, and it's not permissible to invent something on your own and to fast on a particular day on regular basis, unless if it has a reference in the Sharia.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that answer. We have on the line now Brother Ibrahim from Nigeria. Go ahead, brother, with your question, please. Brother Ibrahim?
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, my question is that. Can you hear me?
Brother
Can
Ibrahim?
you hear me?
Yes, could you repeat your question? Okay, I think we lost Brother Ibrahim there. We have a question also from another Ibrahim from Nigeria. Is it lawful to work in a conventional bank?
النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم said in one hadith pertaining any business that includes or involves usury or interest-based business, لعن الله الربا آكله ومؤكله وكاتبه وشاهديه. He said, peace be upon him, may Allah curse the riba-based business or transaction, and also the person who pays interest, the person who charges interest, and the person who is the clerk or is the scriber, the person who is actually concluding the contract in writing, or a banker, if you want to give it a contemporary name, وَشَاهِدَيْهِ, and the two witnesses, which leaves no room for any person to say, well, I'm not included. Any person and every person who is included in a business transaction that's riba-based or haram is also committing a haram. And the ayah is very general, that covers every similar case, since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Ma'idah, وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ, and don't you help one another in achieving or committing any sin or transgression. Anything that is haram, it is not permissible to involve yourself in it directly or even indirectly.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. We have on the line now Brother Mukhtar from the United Arab Emirates. Go ahead with your question, please, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum
salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Mukhtar, for asking.
Sheikh, I have three questions. My first question is, like, supposing I owe some money to someone, but I could not pay him at that time because I didn't have the money. But now I want to pay him, but I cannot locate him. You know, I lost his contact, and I cannot even find a relative of him so that I can pay him. Now, how do I pay him? Or whether, like, you know, I could not pay him, so how I will be judged, like, you know, at the day of judgment of not paying him?
Mukhtar, how long you tried to locate him?
Like, I'm searching, it's like many years, like, you know,
Many
3-4
years.
3-4 years, but now I cannot locate him. So it's like, you know,
Did you try Facebook?
I'm trying to search one of relatives also so that I could pay him, you know.
Okay, I'll answer you, inshallah.
Yeah, I have another question is about ghusl, you know. So when we go in the bathroom, when we want to make ghusl, is it like, you know, some people say that you have to cover your aura and then, you know, you make a ghusl, not unclothing yourself completely. Is it true or not? That is one question. The third question is, like, you know, if we want to make ghusl, when we're making ghusl, and after the ghusl, like, is it necessary to make wudu also, or is it like, you know, when the ghusl it is done, the wudu is done?
Okay.
So that's the three questions.
Okay.
Jazakallah khair.
We also have on the line Brother Mohammed from Libya. Go ahead, Brother Mohammed, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, Sheikh, I have three questions.
Go ahead.
Yes, first question, if somebody borrows some money from somebody else against some of his property,
Okay.
so, and he allowed to use his property until he returned that money, so is it halal or haram?
What kind of property is it?
For example, there are two farmers. One farmer borrow from other farmer some money, and he gives his land to harvest. So other farmer can harvest it.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My second question is about the parents.
Okay.
If somebody is not obeying his parents, for example, if some adult is not obeying his mother,
Mm-hmm.
so what is the ruling in Islam?
Okay.
Okay.
So he can make an excuse like this: his mother is no good, his behavior is not like that. He can make or not.
Okay.
And my third question is, after finishing the prayer of Eid, so it is recommended to go the graveyard of our grandparent or parents to recite some surah and make supplication for them.
Okay.
Yes, these three questions.
Jazakallah.
Okay,
khair.
Jazakallah khair for that. We can go to Brother Mukhtar's first question from
Right.
United Arab Emirates. He said if he owed somebody money and he can't pay them immediately, but now he has the money and he can't find them. So what's the ruling?
Well, if you exerted your best effort and you tried, as you said, several years, and you cannot find them, then there is one way that you can actually donate that money to a charity organization or to needy people, and your intention is to donate that money on behalf of the original lender. And in this regard, there is a hadith, a very interesting hadith, that the Prophet ﷺ informed us about two of one of the nations before us. One of them borrowed some money, 1,000 dinar, for instance, from a rich man. And this rich man, the lender, asked him for a wakil, for a trustee, and for witnesses. So he said, Allah is my trustee, Allah is my witness. So he gave him the money, and he said, how excellent is trustee, and more than enough and sufficient to have Allah as a witness. So he took the money and he traveled, he sailed in the sea, and when he finished his business and he made the money and he was able to pay him back, he was waiting for a ride, for a ship or a boat to take him to the other side of the water so that he can pay his loan, to pay off his loan. Meanwhile, the lender was waiting for him on the other shore at the appointed time. But he could not find any ride. He could not find a single ship that was sailing at this time. So he said, Oh Allah, he asked me for a wakil, and I said, Allah is my wakil. He asked me for a shaheed or a shahid or a witness, and I said, Allah is my witness. Oh Allah, deliver this money on my behalf to him. And he found a piece of wood. So he dug it out and he put the sack of money inside it, and he plugged it back and he threw it in the sea. And the other man was sitting, waiting all day long, and when the day was approaching its end and sunset, he decided to go home because he lost hope that his friend would be coming anyway. So while he was fixing to leave, he noticed that there was a piece of wood or a log. He decided to pick it up so that he can use it for cooking or warming up at home. So he picked it up, and when he went home and he started breaking it down, and this is a hadith, a sound hadith, so this is not a fiction story, it's a fact. As he broke it apart, he found the sack of money and the exact amount there.
SubhanAllah.
The rest of the story is quite interesting, because this man later on found a ship. So he traveled and he took another 1,000 dinar and he went to the lender and he wanted to pay him. If he said, did you send the money? He said, well, I could not find a ship. Did you send the money? And so on. So the catch in the story that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you are sincere and serious in your intention in paying off your debt, as the Prophet ﷺ said in another hadith, من أخذ أموال الناس يريد آداءها أدى الله عنه ومن أخذها يريد إتلافها أتلفه الله. Whosoever takes or borrows money from people with an intention of paying them back, once he has the fund, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be his helper and will help him out to settle his debt. How? Don't ask, because Allah is your helper. He is the provider. Then, on the other hand, وَمَنْ أَخَذَهَا يُرِيدُ إِتْلَافَهَا. What about somebody who takes people's money because he thinks that they're very rich? If I borrow 50,000, they would not even feel it. They might even forget about it. And you never know. Maybe he will die and his heirs would not even recognize that I borrowed that much money from them. And this is not a joke, and I'm not making this up. I have cases which was presented before me where people took people's money, and when we came to solve the issue, they said, Sheikh, they have plenty of money. It would not hurt them. $80,000 or more or less, it would not hurt them. So by this way of thinking, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَنْ أَخَذَهَا يُرِيدُ إِتْلَافَهَا أَتْلَفَهُ اللَّهُ. And whosoever takes people's money with the intention of not paying them back, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do itlaf, will destroy him and will destroy his wealth. Not just the amount which he took without right, but his entire position. So you cannot risk it. You should not take a chance in this regard. So what I advise you is, since you spent several years trying to locate him and you failed, you give this money in charity on his behalf and ask Allah for forgiveness for postponing and delaying the payment. And in case he shows up once again, you offer him, you said that I tried to locate you and I tried my best and I donated the money and here is the receipt and even your name is on it. If you wish, I'll be more than happy to pay you your money back. You have to be ready for both options, inshallah.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that answer. We have on the line now Sister Ruqayya from Nigeria. Go ahead, sister, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Please, I have two questions.
Okay.
My first question is, Alhamdulillah, I was once a banker in a conventional bank. But I have resigned a long time ago. I'm really concerned because while I was still working in the bank, I facilitated some river-based transactions. I've always been asking God to forgive me for being part of it. But unfortunately for me, some of these transactions are still running. Will I still be credited with the sin of a river transaction?
Okay.
That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, inshallah, I'll be performing Hajj this year. I want to know, I've done it before, but I have not really known the, I don't know. What I used to do is, while we are waiting our flight back home, within that period, we used to fast Mondays and Thursdays. Are we allowed to do that?
Okay. Before you go anyway, Ruqayya, as you were working in the bank or you're taking that job, were you aware that facilitating such transaction is haram?
I wasn't aware.
You were not?
I was not aware.
Okay, great. Okay. But inshallah we'll answer if you're done with your questions.
Okay, and we have Sister Halima from Nigeria on the line. Go ahead, sister, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay. My question is on abortion.
Okay.
I was able to watch the rerun on Sunday Huda. So you said one can only have an abortion if that person is raped. But in my own case, my own problem is my husband, he doesn't really want it.
Okay.
Hello?
He doesn't believe
Because
what?
I already have four children already.
Okay.
Okay. And then during the month of Ramadan, I went for Umrah and then I had an accident. So I was on drugs, heavy drugs. So then I didn't know I was pregnant. So until I came back. So and I'm also afraid maybe it can affect the fetus. I don't know.
Okay.
So I don't know if these two reasons I can have an abortion and it's 6 weeks old.
Yeah, you're pregnant 6 weeks now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So I want to know, for these two reasons, can I go ahead for the abortion?
Okay. We'll give your question a priority, inshallah. We'll make sure Umar to answer her question in this episode.
Okay, inshallah. We have on the line now Brother Hamza from Saudi Arabia. Go ahead, brother, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh and brother. How are you?
Alhamdulillah wa shukrulillah.
Sir, pray for us on the whole ummah, please, sir.
Allahumma ameen. May Allah keep us all on the straight path and give us a good return.
Actually, I have 3 questions.
Okay.
One question is that when we spit, how do we spit? On the main road or just on the corner? What is the sunnah of spitting?
Okay.
And I have second thing is that I have your videos of the Prophet's prayer and the Hajj step by step. I have downloaded it from YouTube. So now I have almost all of them. So can I distribute them? I have to take your permission, right?
Yes, you may.
Okay, inshallah.
Okay.
And the third question is that my pants are folded. They are not folded just for the salah. Only like Prophet ﷺ forbade us from praying with folded clothes. But my pants are always folded, not specifically for salah. And if not, should I cut it and stitch it, or I can fold it inwards?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, sir, and please pray for us, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, we have another question from Brother Mukhtar. He said, when performing ghusl, does he have to cover the awrah during
No,
ghusl?
you don't have to.
Okay. Okay. And he also asked, after ghusl, is it needed to make wudu also?
Well, with regards to performing wudu after ghusl, if you perform a proper ghusl, where you begin by washing the hands, the private part, performing wudu, and then perform ghusl as regular, providing this ghusl is a ghusl of lifting the major impurity, then you're not required to perform another wudu. That will be sufficient because it already lifted the major impurity and along with it the minor impurity. But if it was the ghusl, a sunnah ghusl, such as for Fridays or Eids or refreshment, then an independent wudu is required.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that answer. We have on the line now Sister Madiha from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Go ahead, Sister, with your question, please.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I wanted to know that my parents say that the girls should get married to semi-practicing Muslims. And then if we bring him to religion, there is more reward for that. So, and I'm, according to Quran and Hadith, I'm of the view that we should get married to a very pious Muslim. And so my views conflict with my parents' views, and in this condition, what should I do? The other question is it true that we can help with money to release Afia Siddiqui? Is it true that if we give certain amount of money, she will be released? That's all.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's all. Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazakum.
Okay, and we have on the line now Brother Abdul Rahman from the United Arab Emirates. Go ahead, brother, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa
Brother
barakatuh.
Muhammad, I love you in Islam, inshallah.
أحبك الذي أحببتني فيه. May Allah, the one whom you loved me for his sake, love you as well.
May Allah grant you Jannah, inshallah, next to the Prophet.
Ameen. Ameen. And you too and all of our audience. Ameen.
My question is about Salatul Wusta. I read in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 238. Salatul Wusta. What is the meaning of Salatul Wusta? What is the importance?
Okay.
Okay.
Shukran. Assalamu alaikum.
Afwan.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. We have a question here from Brother Muhammad from Libya. He said, what is the ruling on not obeying your parents? And, for example, if you correct somebody who's not obeying his parents and he gives the excuse, well, my mother's not good, she does this, she does that.
There is no excuse in not obeying one's parents. If a person is not good to his parents or one of them or whoever is alive of them, then he is not even good to himself, to his spouse, to his children. He will not be good to anyone else. And his deeds will be ruined because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us right after the command of believing in the oneness of Allah to be good and dutiful to one's parents. Guess what? Even if they are disbelievers. He said, وَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا يَتْ وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. So if they struggle with you to persuade you, to force you or to hinder you from the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or to make you change your faith, you still have to give them a good company in this dunya, but do not obey them. in any aspect of disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or they ask you to do anything that might upset Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But other than in this area, you must obey them. You must respect them. You must take care of them financially, spiritually, morally, by every possible mean. Just recently I had a chance to be visited by a revert, may Allah bless him and his family, and his parents are not Muslims. And I spoke to his mom, and she was very proud that her son have accepted Islam. I guess we have a call from Afghanistan, so I'd like to take this call first.
Okay, yes, we have Brother Muhibballah from Afghanistan. Go ahead, brother, with your question, please. I guess we lost him.
Too bad we lost him.
Brother,
I really wanted to speak to somebody from Afghanistan.
Well, if he calls back, we'll try to get his question, inshallah. Okay. So you had a...
Naam.
Yeah.
Then I really wanted to communicate with the mother. I don't have to say where are they from Europe anyway, but the whole family are very happy that their son is a Muslim because of his behavior, his moral code and conduct, which has improved tremendously after accepting Islam. And this is not an odd case. This is what I have seen all over. The manners and the akhlaq of a person who was a non-Muslim after accepting Islam are the best mean of giving da'wah to his parents, to his family, and to others as well. And this is something that is indigenous in the personality of a true Muslim, of a practicing Muslim, not a person who is a superficial Muslim, or a person who inherited Islam without really acquiring the core of Islam, without practicing Islam in depth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to look after one's parents and take care of them even if they were non-Muslims. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala went even further to say, وَإِن جَاهَدَكَ. You know the word jihad, which the church keeps crying about, jihad, and the Vatican. This is one of the form of the jihad where it is the reverse jihad, that the parents are struggling to convince their son or daughter to leave Islam and come back into shirk. This is not a reason to make him be undutiful to his parents. Do not obey them in this area. Do not listen to their command. Do not comply with what they want. But otherwise, وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. Still, give them a good company with regards to worldly matters.
Jazakallah khair for that answer. He also asked, Brother Muhammad from Libya, after praying the Eid prayer, he said some people recommend him to go to the grave of parents or grandparents and make dua for them and this sort of thing. Is there any basis in that?
Everything he said is perfectly fine, except that we do not go to recite Quran there. The proper way is that the Prophet ﷺ used to visit the graveyard of Al-Baqiyah every once in a while, and also the graveyard of the martyrs of Uhud, in order to give salam and make dua and seek forgiveness for the Muslim deceased, or those who are the dwellers of the graveyard, by saying Assalamu alaikum ahla diyari min al-mu'minina wal-muslimin antum as-sabiquna wa nahnu bikum insha'Allah lahiqun nas'alullah lana wa lakum al-afiyya. We ask Allah to pardon us and pardon you, and praying for them with forgiveness, with mercy. All of that is recommended because it provides a person with several benefits. Number one benefit is making istighfar and asking for good things for the dead people, whether his relatives or not. The second is you yourself. When you go and detach yourself from this world and its material, from your Mercedes or BMW and the air-conditioned house and the luxurious office and the chair which is several $1,000 and all of that, and you just think about this, that soon, as we said, وَنَحْنُ بِكُمْ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَاحِقُونَ, soon we will join you. Oh my God, oh my God, is it true? Is it true that I will be buried under the dirt and people, my beloved people, will throw the dirt on top of me? Is it true that my beloved wife, my kids, and all my family, my employees, would leave me alone to face my fate? Yes, it is true. Then your heart should not be occupied by anything other than the love of Allah and the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you should not worry yourself about acquiring wealth or material from haram sources or doubtful means or matter. Why? Because soon you're going to depart and leave all of that. And you will be asked about it. This is just some of the beautiful benefits of visiting the graveyard, since the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أَلَا فَزُورُوهَا فَإِنَّا تُذَكِّرُكُمُ الْمَوْتِ. Now I command you to visit the graveyard very often, because it will detach you from the dunya, and it will remind you with the inevitable fact, which is, you're going to die. إِنَّكَ مَيِّتٌ وَإِنَّهُمْ مَيِّتُونَ.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that answer. We're going to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Ask Huda.
Inshallah, on the straight path, we would like to discuss the niqab from an Islamic and social political perspective.
So sometimes some non-Muslims, they might not understand the full Islamic pictures. Anyone can say anything about it.
Yes.
So when can we, who speaks for Islam? This is the biggest question. Who speaks for Islam? No, they are not sinning. They are not sinning, but we are talking about now the general ruling. They are not sinning, but they are going against what has been established. It is his own ijtihad at a specific time.
People would see it as
threat.
A threat.
Exactly.
How do we explain to them it's not really a threat? It's actually good for the country as well. But if we don't participate, how would we ever reach to our rights? Can you clarify with us what should be the level of political participation of the Muslims in the West?
Yeah.
Back to the Prophet. Join Sheikh Amar in the program Back to the Prophet, wherein he teaches us practical lessons from the Prophet's life and how this can help us to overcome our challenges in the present.
We talk about the life example of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, seeking guidance for ourselves. In the early days after the revelation of the Holy Quran, the Muslims were greatly persecuted, so much so that quite a few Muslims had to leave Arabia and migrate to Africa to live among Ahl Kitab, Christian people who followed the gospel of Christ.
Covering the manners in Islam that a Muslim is supposed to have in Islam.
There is a strong link between having good manners and piety. And then he said, I guarantee a dwelling in the highest rank of Jannah for the one who perfects his manner. That indeed, truthfulness leads to piety, to righteousness. And righteousness and piety leads to Jannah.
The Prophet ﷺ used to always maintain family ties.
Gentleness in Islam means to treat people with kindness and with tenderness.
Bismillah, assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to today's episode of Ask Huda. I would like to remind our viewers of our telephone number 002-0238-555-248 or 249, or you can email us your questions at ask@huda.tv. Sheikh, we have a question from Mohammed from Libya. He said he borrows money from someone in order to get some property. Is he allowed to use that property, or what's the ruling on that exactly?
So basically he said that he borrowed some money from an individual and he mortgaged his property with him until he pays back his loan.
Okay.
It is not permissible for the lender to benefit out of the mortgage, because in this case it will be a riba. Because riba is not only to pay a little extra at the time of paying back the debt or settling the loan, but it is by benefiting from the the borrower, the person who borrowed. So if the creditor or the debtor benefited by any means, such as he had him work for him and he did not pay him, or he took his property and he lived in it or he utilized it, so he benefited out of that. And the fiqh rule says كل قرض جر نفعا فهو ربا. Every loan or credit that is accompanied with a benefit, you name it, this benefit is labor, this benefit is extra money, or utilizing the mortgage, then this is some sort of riba.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that answer. Also, Sister Rakia from Nigeria, she asked that while she was working in a bank in the past, she doesn't work there anymore, she did some transactions involving riba, and she has since repented, and she asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness.
I'm glad she did.
But some of these transactions are still producing profits, after she's gone, so she's worried about that.
But she's not a part of it anymore. She left the job, she recognized that it was haram, and I'm very glad when I asked her whether she was aware that at the time of work that was prohibited or not, and she said no, she was unaware of that, which is, alhamdulillah, it makes it a lot better than if she knew and she deliberately worked in it. So repenting and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness should inshallah be enough to remove whatever sin was committed in this regard. And if there is anything that you can do, perhaps you communicate with the people who are involved in those contracts or those business and give them da'wah. Not just because you were involved in it in the past, but because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us to convey the message and to enjoin what's right and forbid what's evil with regards to anything that we see is bad, to try to correct it. Whether those people whom are involved in this act, we know or we don't. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this ummah has been appointed as the best ummah for the following qualities: يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. They enjoin what's right and they forbid what's evil.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that answer. We have on the line now Sister Fatima from Egypt. Go ahead, Sister, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is about wearing of the pants. Is it considered not right even if you're wearing it with a long garment, which is below your knees?
Okay.
Okay.
Is that your only question?
And my second question is about wearing of braces. Is that wrong if you're wearing, because it's changing the shape of how Allah created your teeth? So I was also wondering about what is about wearing the braces. Is it right or is it wrong?
Okay, Jazakallah khair. And we have Sister Fatila from Nigeria. Go ahead, Sister, with your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My question is about the conventional banks.
Okay, a lot of questions.
In Nigeria, we do not have Islamic banks, but there is a particular bank that practices interest-free accounts. That they practice other interest-based transactions, but there is a particular account that is interest-free. Can I save my money through that account? Because there are so many transactions that I really have to do with the bank.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sending money or other
yeah, okay.
We do not have Islamic banks in Nigeria.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, we got it. We got your
Yes,
question.
that's all. Thank you.
Okay,
You're
Jazakallah khair.
I really like to go to Sister Halima's question with regards to the pregnancy before the end of the program. I believe she said that she was performing Umrah and she got involved in a car collision or an accident, and she's worried about the fate of the baby or the fetus. She's 6 weeks pregnant.
Right.
This is not a legitimate cause for abortion. Unless if you're informed and deformity is confirmed by the physicians that the child is deformed or have some serious problems, and as long as it is in the first stage, as we explained in the previous episode, she did watch that, then in this case, if it is confirmed, it is permissible. But if it is just mere doubt, then it's not permissible whatsoever. You never know. Maybe this child would grow up and will be the best of your children. Allah knows best.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. Also, Sister Rukia from Nigeria, she said that she intends to perform Hajj this year, inshallah. And in previous years, while waiting to return home, I guess after all of the rites have been completed, they resumed the habit of fasting on Mondays and Thursdays per the Sunnah. Is this something okay to do?
I really envy you for two things. First of all, for going for Hajj. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us an accepted Hajj as well this year. Second, for your keenness to practice the tradition of fasting, the voluntary fasting, even while flying. The Sunnah is not to fast if you are flying, the voluntary fasting. The Prophet ﷺ said, لَيْسَ مِنْ إِمْبِرِنِمْ صِيَامٍ فِي مْصَفَى. Or what it means, it is not of the righteousness to fast while traveling. So it is better not to fast, unless if it is a fasting due to making of fasting or a vow that you made, then in this case it is permissible. Even during Ramadan, while you're traveling, you're exempt. There is a concession for a traveler not to fast and to shorten and combine his prayer. But if somebody does not get affected by traveling, he travels first class and he flies for a couple of hours or even more, and he is happy with that. He would not even feel the hunger or thirst, so he wants to fast because anyway he's going to make up the day which he missed. It is permissible to fast, but for the voluntary fasting, it is better not to fast while traveling. Wallahu a'lam.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that answer, Sheikh. We have on the line now Brother Mohammed from the United Arab Emirates. Go ahead, brother, with your question, please.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have one question, Sheikh. I hail from India, and there we do not have the Islamic type of government, and I have some money in the bank, and I never took a single penny as yet because it's a tradition of the bank everywhere in my country to pay riba, and I never took a single penny as yet and never intend to do so anyway. But if I intend to buy a home for myself there in my country, and they have a registration fee allocated for that. So while I buy my home with my legitimate earnings, do I have the right? I'm just trying to know.
I got your question.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
So that I could pay that back to the government, whatever I get as interest from them.
Okay.
To get it registered.
Basically, your question shares another question, a part of the question, which is depositing the money in what we call it, in an account which does not generate any revenue or any interest. If you are depositing your money, which you have to deposit your money if you have any positions, any cash in a conventional bank in a non-Muslim state, in this condition, many of the contemporary scholars have adopted this view, which I believe it is very smart, that you should not actually leave the interest or profit that is generated. It is haram, we agree. But what if you leave it to the bank and say, I'm not interested, I don't want it? It will be taken, perhaps it will be donated to churches or missionary organizations or, those non-profit organizations, and they will benefit out of it. I would rather take this money and give it to a Muslim orphanage or a school or a hospital or, many ways that I can dispense this money without considering it as a charity. As we agreed before, that somebody has a position which is not lawfully earned. When you give it away, your intention is to get rid of the haram, because you do not collect a reward on donating something which is not lawfully earned. So this is what I advise. Second, why shouldn't I benefit out of this? For instance, the state charges me taxes or customs, and this is all haram. So can I pay this or the registration fee or out of or the health insurance out of the interest? No. Why not? Because now I'm using or utilizing this money. What is the difference if I use it to buy food or clothes or pay registration fee? I benefited personally out of it. So it's not permissible for us to benefit out of any unlawfully earned money, such as an interest that is generated on on a money that is deposited on an interest-based account.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that answer. Brother Hamza from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, he had a very interesting question. He said, is there a sunnah of spitting? You know, sometimes you have to spit.
No,
is there some sort of sunnah with that?
Yeah, there is an etiquette in everything, Umar. I know that Umar is also a revert. And how long have you been a Muslim?
9 years.
MashaAllah, great. And whether you're a revert or born in Islam, we still have a long way to learn just so much about the deen. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. Above every knowledgeable one, there is one who is even more knowledgeable. You'll be amazed that the more you acquire knowledge, the more you realize that, I was an ignorant, and we're still crawling on the path of seeking knowledge. Yes, there is a sunnah, particularly if you're praying. The Prophet ﷺ said you should not be spitting straight ahead towards the Qibla, nor to your right, but you may spit to your left hand side. In the hadith, which I would like to comment on the etiquette of spitting, urinating, defecating, or answering the call of nature, or even having an intimate relationship with a spouse. A Jew once said to Salman al-Farisi that your religion have taught you so much, it has taught you everything in deen or dunya. He said, yes, it is true that the Prophet ﷺ taught us even how to answer the call of nature. There are adab, etiquette, in every aspect in life, whether pertaining deen or worldly matters in Islam.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that answer. He also asked, praying with folded clothes, he sometimes does that, he folds his pants up.
Yeah.
Should he cut it or stitch it? Can he fold it inward?
The Prophet ﷺ forbade us from cuffing or folding the clothes in the salah, or before the salah and entering the salah with it. So even if you have this habit, it should be unfolded during the prayer. So if you want to cut it or stitch it so that it is not actually folded during the prayer, that is better.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that. Also, we have a question from Sister Madiha from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. She said that her parents tell her that Muslim girls who are practicing should get married to semi-practicing Muslims in order to get the good deeds of bringing them into, being more practicing.
I'm afraid I totally oppose this idea, and I agree with what you believe, Madiha, because this is what the Prophet ﷺ said. He said, إِذَا جَاءَكُم مَّن تَرْضَوْنَ دِينَهُ وَأَمَانَتَهُ. The deen, the manners, the religious commitment, and trustworthiness, then you should give him your daughter in marriage. But do not take a chance. Do not risk it. And how do you know that this person might be straightened? And that he would not persuade your daughter to deviate her from the deen? It happened a lot. When a girl tries to convince herself, I know that he does not pray, but I'm going to make him pray. No. Maybe this person would make you leave the prayer. I have seen some men who force their wives to take off their hijab. They want to take them to parties. They wanted them to shake hands with other men. They wanted even them to exchange hugs and kisses with them, because he said, we're in America. We're in America, and we have to be moderate, and we have to show people that we are moderate people, and this is Islam, and introduce Islam. So this is called deception, right? From the beginning, if the guardian have chosen or agreed to the proposal of a righteous person, he has put his daughter, his heart, his piece of jewel in the right hand, in the hand of a trustworthy person. But if anything other than that happened, then he's blameworthy in the first degree. And other good news I want to tell you, Madiha, even whether this person is righteous or not, the final say is yours. Because in Islam, it is not permissible for the guardian to force his girl or the girl under his guardianship to marry anyone without her consent or permission. Wallahu a'lam.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that answer, Sheikh, and thank you for being with us today. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have, but the viewers can still email us their questions at ask@huda.tv. And if anyone would like to help support Huda TV with a financial contribution, you can email us at support@huda.tv. Until next time, I'm your host, Omar Dunlap, wishing you peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the